Wake my lights.
You got it, brightening 3 lights slowly.
Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. Now it's really easy to utilize Philips Hue to wake you up in the morning and put you to sleep at night, but there are a lot of nuances to how you can do that and the right products you want to buy in order to do that. So I'm going to walk you through all of those different nuances here today to make sure you set this up right, especially with Google Home and your Amazon products. The first thing to talk about is selecting the bulb actually, and this is a bit of an interesting discussion. This is called the Philips Hue Bloom, and this is a relatively old Philips Hue light now, and so are these actually when we get right down to it. These are your standard Hue E26 bulbs, which they don't change temperature and they don't change color, but this is the full color bulb. And when you go into the Philips Hue application, what you will actually find is that this is the only one they're recommending out of these three. So the first thing to do is to select a bulb that is intended to simulate the full color spectrum. That's a very important component. Now, when you look at a Philips Hue Bloom, you think, okay, that's going to simulate the full spectrum, but that's not actually what this light does. And it actually shows when you start up the light, you'll actually see in the very center it's a red and a green light. So it's actually just combining a couple of LEDs, and so it looks very natural, or they do a good job of replicating the colors, but it is not truly the colors that we would normally see. And so that's where this bulb really excels. In terms of setting this up within the Philips Hue application, this is a really simple process. So you can go into routines and then you'll see the wake up and the go to sleep options. Now what Philips is letting you do through their application is create just a scheduled wake up time or a scheduled go to sleep time. You don't have any other capability, so keep that in mind. But as you create a wake up, you can name it whatever you'd like. You can set the days and the time that you'd like this to actually trigger. You can set multiple days, and then you can set how long you'd like it to take to actually fade in the light. So 10, 20, or 30 minutes is what the options are you have from Philips. Now choosing where is an interesting thing. You can select up to 4 rooms, or you can select from the full home. So, you know, it's easiest probably just to select from the full home, but if you have all the rooms set up in your Philips Hue app, you can go ahead and utilize that. Now when you do that, what you'll notice is down below that word where shows up the word home. So this is your entire home. And what they do right away, and this is where I say there's certain bulbs that are recommended. This bulb, it's called the Office Color Main, because I used to have it in my main fixture here, but that's the one that's recommended. And everything else I have in my home, all the other different light types, they're not recommended, so they're not showing up there. That doesn't mean you can't use them, but I will say that there is a little differential, which I'll show you in the demo here at the end. Now, you go ahead and you select which bulbs you want, and once you've done that, you can turn the lights off as well as part of this routine, but in general, I think you're just going to want to leave that and then control them separately, or you could leave them on for an hour and then turn them off after that. Now you hit save, and you've created this wake up, and if you, as we go forward into Google Home and other systems, other connected systems, that scene right there, you don't need it scheduled to work with other systems. So you can actually turn that off if you're just wanting to use that set of lights and through a Google Home or through an Amazon Echo device, or really any other automation system that connects with Philips Hue. Now, towards the end of this video, I'm going to show you the really powerful thing between Google Home and Philips Hue that they created. It's a gentle wake up and a gentle sleep, essentially, capability here where they have real, true, direct integration. But there's a couple of different ways to actually use Philips Hue with your different systems. So you can actually create a routine, which I'll show you how to do here in both of the systems very briefly. Switching over to the Google Home application now, we have to do a little bit of digging in order to find the scene regularly, but it doesn't really matter because what we're doing is creating a new routine. So I've just tapped on routine and now I scroll down to the bottom and I hit manage routines. This is the quickest and easiest way to get to routines. Otherwise, they're in your settings section. Now, this is where I start to create my wake up, but I could also set it as one of the good morning routines where it's ready-made if I wanted to. Now, those only trigger off of what I say. So when I say good morning, something will occur, but really this is a wake-up light and I want it to automatically happen. So I'm going to create a new routine and I am going to put in a command because you have to. So I'm going to call this one Wake Up with Philips. Hit save. And now I set the time and day that I want this to happen. So I'm going to set this all the weekdays, and I don't really care which speaker starts it unless you're going to start music at the end of this routine. But keep in mind that this is really just to trigger on your Philips Hue lighting. So I've chosen the bedroom display, and then what time I want to pick there, I'm going to just choose 7 a.m. And now I'm going to go back. So at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday, the Google Assistant should, and we're going to tap Add Action, and then we're going to choose Popular Actions. Now, what is the thing we want to tap on is Adjust Scenes. Now, this is where the Sync My Devices was so important because now you will find the routine or the scene come over from Philips Hue into here. So I've chosen Wake Up 1, I've put a check mark there, and then I put a check mark in Adjust Scenes. I don't really want anything else to happen unless you want to put your phone on silent or take it off silent at that point so you're kind of woken up naturally as things go here. And now I'm just going to hit Add. So this is the entire routine. It is managed within Google Home, and I would just create a second one for the sleep routine that I've created. Now, what you want to do is, because I've set my Philips Hue at 7:10, you want to create a second routine to start music at that point or to do the other things that you want to have happen. So you would start that at 7:10 at the end of your wake up cycle with Philips Hue. Now I'm going to go a lot faster here with Amazon, but inside of the devices section or with your Amazon voice assistant, you just need to ask it to discover devices. Once that's happened, you will find that same set of scenes from Philips Hue show up in the application. So again, here's Wake Up 1 and Wake Up 2, which you've now seen from the demo, and you would also have your sleep routine. So you could just ask for those from Amazon for control from Amazon there. But what you can also do is similar to Google Home, you can create a routine. So you want a certain schedule at a certain time, and you can pick which days you want it to repeat. And they give you a few more options here, and you just go ahead, hit next. And what you're doing from there is adding the action. So you're going to choose Smart Home, and you can control with a scene. So you would just choose the scene and then simply create that. So again, all the way down at the bottom is my wake up routines that came across from Philips Hue, and I just want to turn that scene on, and I'm going to hit save. And so based on the settings I have right now, 1:38 p.m. on every weekday, it will turn on all my lights with the settings that I have from Philips Hue. So now you can see where you can just schedule these routines, or you can request those routines to actually start. But what's tricky about that situation is you can start the wake up routine, let's say with your Google Home product at 7, but maybe you want an alarm at 7:30, and you either need a second routine for that where you start music at 7:30 once the lights are fully up, or you need to actually just set a separate alarm at 7:30. So you're kind of ending up managing two different things. And this is where the true integration with Google Home and Philips becomes so powerful. And so the first thing, and I'm just reading the command here, What you're going to tell your Google Home device is to turn on gentle wake up, and this synchronizes these lights in the same room. So what it's working on is these are in the same room. So in the Google Home application, you put the lights you want to rise with your wake up time in the same room. And once you've configured that, it's as simple as this. Turn on gentle wake up.
You got it. Turning on gentle wake up for 3 lights. I'll start to brighten the lights before your morning alarm.
So because these 4 devices are all in the same room in the Google Home application, whenever I set an alarm now on Google Home, she will automatically start these lights powering up 30 minutes before. Now there's no way to change that 30 minutes timer. That's how long it goes for with this direct integration. You can't choose that 10, 20, or 30 minutes that you could with the Philips Hue app, and therefore in your routines as if you use it in that method. But now I'm synchronized with just any alarm, or any morning alarm rather. These 4 products are all synchronized. Now you saw at the start of the video, I can simply ask to wake my lights or sleep my lights, and I can do that per room as well. So if you want to wake my lights in the bedroom and this device isn't in the bedroom, you can go ahead and say in bedroom, as long as that's the name of the room you have set up. You can also sleep the lights in any bedroom, and that will, or in any room rather, and that will also work as well. So those are simple commands that you can simply ask to wake my lights.
Sure, brightening 3 lights slowly.
So I think it's easy to see that you can create this integration, but there are some nuances to it here. Whenever you ask to wake the lights or sleep the lights, a bit of a different thing happens. So if you say wake my lights in a room, if you want to define that, but if you say wake my lights, whatever percent or whatever these are sitting at, it will go to 1% and start counting up at a rate of approximately 3% a minute, and it will just go for 30 minutes and get to 100%. Now on the flip side, when you say sleep my lights, what happens is whatever percent brightness these lights are sitting at, it will actually start from there and ramp down at a rate divided by 30 minutes essentially. So if you're sitting at 60%, it's going to go down by 2% a minute for 30 minutes. It's not going to take them all the way to full brightness, and I like that choice between Google and Philips here. Wake office color tester bulb.
Sure, brightening the office color bulb tester slowly.
So you can see, you could do it individually by bulb name if you'd like as well. So you can sleep and wake bulbs individually. So if you just have a bedside or a bedroom table lamp, then go ahead and name it that in the Google Home application, and you can start and stop that. The other thing you can do is you can schedule up to 24 hours in advance to start or stop a light. So if you haven't actually synchronized them like you saw me do at the start of the Google Home and Philips demo here, then you can actually just schedule one of these. So wake my lights at 6 a.m.
You got it. I'll brighten 3 lights slowly. Tomorrow at 6 a.m.
So now, starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, all 3 of these bulbs, because they were in the same room as this, they will all come up, and we will have that automatically scheduled starting at 6 a.m. So it's not like it's aligning with an alarm or anything like that. They're just going to come up at 6 a.m. So you can also sleep your lights. You could go ahead and do that as well. But from that point, what's a little bit tricky about that situation is it doesn't react like an alarm, or it doesn't get canceled or set like an alarm inside of Google Home. So once you say wake my lights at this time, it's going to do that, and I don't have a cancel capability right now. I did use just the cancel gentle wake up, but that's canceling the synchronization and not the scheduled time that I put in there. You can't cancel it like an alarm, so it's really hard to access. So when you ask that to either wake up my lights at X time, time or sleep my lights at X time, well, that's going to happen for you unless you're unplugging the lights. Now, this is one of the most requested features that we see from people who are utilizing Google Home and Philips. And so what I've created is a playlist here for you guys to go through and actually get what you want most of the time out of a device like the Google Home Hub. So go ahead, watch that, and we'll see you next time.